Hello viewers, in my previous lecture I had explained you about the double circulation. I'll just recall what is double circulation. Double circulation is divided into two types. They are systemic and the pulmonary circulation. I had mentioned you earlier also that left hand side of the heart carries the oxygenated blood, that is the pure blood, and the right hand side of the heart carries the deoxygenated blood. And from left auricle it goes to left ventricle, from left ventricle to aorta, and from aorta to all parts of the body. And at the same time the deoxygenated blood comes to the right auricle, and from right auricle to right ventricle, and from right ventricle to pulmonary artery. From pulmonary artery it goes to the lungs for purification. So this way the blood is circulated from the heart, and then from heart to various parts of the body, and deoxygenated goes to the lungs. Therefore the two types of circulation, that means the blood flows twice, and the two types of circulation is pulmonary and systemic. It is pulmonary and systemic. Now I already discussed with you that the pulmonary artery carries the deoxygenated blood from the right auricle, from the right auricle to the right ventricle, and then it goes to the pulmonary artery. From the pulmonary artery it goes to the lungs for purification. Now from the lungs it comes to the left auricle via the pulmonary veins, and from pulmonary veins it goes to the left auricle, and from left auricle to the left ventricle. This is pulmonary circulation. This is pulmonary circulation. And that is, every organ has its own arteries and veins. Means arteries, they become thinner, they form arterioles, and then capillaries, and capillaries are a network of arteries and veins. That means arterioles and venules, they form capillaries, very finer one cell thick wall blood vessels called as capillaries, where the exchange of materials takes place. So now from the capillary the deoxygenated blood comes to the venules, and from venules to the veins, and from the great veins, that is the vena cava, that is the superior vena cava, the deoxygenated blood comes to the right atrium, and from the right atrium it will go to the, obviously, to the right ventricle. Now this is the systemic circulation. Now both are little different, because the pulmonary circulation, total involvement of the lungs, that is lungs are purifying the blood which they receive from the right ventricle, and then from the pulmonary veins they supply it to the left auricle. This way the lungs receive the deoxygenated blood and purify it, and again give it to the left atrium via the pulmonary veins. Now the left atrium, which receives the oxygenated blood, that goes to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it goes to the aorta, and from aorta it goes to different parts of our body. Therefore it carries oxygen and other important nutrients, as well as the hormones, and you can say all the necessary nutrients, they are carried by the blood, as well as the oxygen, and it is supplied to the different tissues of our body, or you can say from the tissues to the various organs. Similarly, when it becomes the deoxygenated, this deoxygenated blood is brought from the lower side of the body by the inferior vena cava, and from upper side of the body by the superior vena cava, comes to the right atrium, and from right atrium goes to the right ventricle, and from right ventricle goes to the pulmonary artery, and from pulmonary artery to the lungs for purification. This is double circulation. Now actually there is another means of the vascular connection, a unique vascular connection is there that is actually termed as portal system. Listen to me very carefully. Another unique type of vascular connection, that is portal system. Generally, I told you that inferior and the superior vena cava, they pour the deoxygenated blood directly into the right atrium. But the veins from some organs, they do not open directly into the vena cava. I repeat, but the veins of some organs, they do not open directly into the vena cava. Instead of that, they first go to some other organ. Instead of that, they go to some other organ, and from that organ, the blood is then drained into the vena cava through its own vein. That is, that organ has its own vein, and from that vein it drains the deoxygenated blood to the vena cava. Such type of an arrangement is called as portal system. Such type of arrangement is called as portal system. And this portal system, it is found in man as well as in some other mammals also. So the animals, they exhibit various types of portal system. The two main are hepatic portal system and hypophyseal portal system. In your course, there is hepatic portal system, that too in a brief only, but I'll explain you little detail. Hepatic portal system. This hepatic portal system is universally present in all vertebrates. This hepatic portal system is present universally in all vertebrates. In this system, I told you, the veins from stomach, intestine and the associated structures, the veins are superior vein, mesenteric vein and inferior mesenteric vein, as well as splenic vein and gastric vein. These combine together to form a hepatic portal system. I am repeating, the veins from the stomach, intestine and the associated structure, they are superior vein, mesenteric vein, inferior mesenteric vein and splenic vein as well as gastric vein. These combine together to form hepatic portal vein. Now this hepatic portal vein drains the blood from these organs into the liver. Therefore the name is hepatic, that is hepatic gland. That is the hepatic gland. I am repeating, these veins which are combination of the earlier mentioned vein which form hepatic portal vein, they drain the blood into liver, and from the liver the hepatic portal vein branches and forms capillary band, and then liver finally drains into the inferior vena cava, or you can also say post caval, or you can say post caval. Inferior vena cava is also called as post caval, through its own vein called hepatic vein. Okay, so the liver finally opens into the inferior vena cava through its own vein called as hepatic vein. In this way, the blood from the stomach, intestine goes to the inferior vena cava but passing through liver. It is passing through the liver. It is not directly drained into the inferior vena cava. I am repeating, the blood from the stomach, intestine and the associated part there, they do not drain the blood directly into the inferior vena cava, whereas they form a combination of vein and then form a hepatic portal vein. This hepatic portal vein drains the blood, the oxygenated blood, into the liver, and from the liver it goes to the inferior vena cava, and from inferior vena cava it comes to the right hand side of the heart, that is the right atrium via the superior vena cava. Now what is the significance and advantages from the hepatic portal system? The blood that comes to the liver contains very important nutrients So liver separates the excess quantity of nutrients if they are in excess in the blood. When glucose is in excess, liver converts it into glycogenesis. When nutrients are deficient in blood, the liver releases some nutrients from its stored stock, and some waste, if they are present in incoming blood, are also removed off by the liver. So many functions are done by the liver. I have already discussed in my previous lecture with you. In this way, hepatic portal system keeps the quantity of substances in blood at normal, whether they are present in excess or deficient amount in the food. Thus, hepatic portal system helps to maintain osmotic environment and homeostasis. Homeostasis means maintenance of internal body temperature according to the external variable temperatures. So this way I complete the double circulation and the hepatic portal system. Now further I would like to explain you various disorders of cardiovascular system. I would like to discuss various disorders of cardiovascular system, and before that I'll just tell you the regulation of the cardiac activity. And generally heart, the activities of the heart, they are regulated by the internal factors itself, auto-regulated. It is auto-regulated, and I had already discussed this a lot along with you in my previous lectures. Our heart is myogenic because it is under control of the specialized muscles or nodule tissue or nodulated tissue called as SA node. So special neural center in the medulla oblongata is also there, which help in the proper functioning of the heart, and they through the system called ANS, that is autonomic nervous system, as well as the sympathetic nervous system, that is a part of the autonomic nervous system, which increases the rate of the heartbeat and the strength of the ventricle contraction and therefore the cardiac output. But the parasympathetic neural signals or the parasympathetic nervous system, which is again a part of autonomic nervous system, it decreases the rate of heartbeat, and therefore the conduction of the action potential is also the speed is normalized or it is decreased. So this way the conditions are maintained, or you can say its functions in a moderate manner. And adrenal medullary hormones that also help in increasing the cardiac output, which you will study in detail in the next chapter from me. And another very important, that is the, I told you, autonomic nervous system. It is divisible into two types, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic. That means if one is stimulating, another is inhibiting. So if the sympathetic is increasing the rate of heartbeat, the parasympathetic, it is decreasing the rate of heartbeat. This way it gives a moderate functioning to it. Now I would like to move on to the disorders of the circulatory system, and they are, the first one is the hypertension. It is normally termed as high blood pressure. It is the condition when the blood pressure of a person remains higher than the normal value over a long period of time. The normal blood pressure in an adult human, that is, I told you, 120/80, which I have already discussed with you, and it is the measurement of the 120 mmHg, millimeters of mercury pressure. So 120 is the systolic, that is 120 is the systolic. Systolic means also, I have told you, when the contraction of the muscles takes place, and the diastolic is 80 mmHg. Diastolic is 80 mm of Hg, or you can say the relaxing, when the muscles relax, or the resting pressure. So here you can say, but a pressure above than 140/90 may be considered as the high blood pressure. I am repeating, a pressure above the 140/90 may be considered as the high blood pressure, and hypertension or high BP can potentially harm three vital organs of your body. They are kidneys, heart and brain. High BP exerts greater pressure on the heart and arteries, and high BP in the kidneys may damage the delicate arteries of glomerulus present in the kidneys. Similarly, in brain capillaries, they may burst due to high BP, causing brain hemorrhages. So you might have heard about the brain hemorrhages. They are due to the bursting of the blood capillaries in the brain due to the high blood pressure. Another type of disorder is atherosclerosis. Another is atherosclerosis. This atherosclerosis is also termed as CAD. Atherosclerosis is also termed as CAD, that is coronary artery disease. It involves the deposition of lipids. Lipids, or mainly the cholesterol derivatives called plaque, on the inner lining of the coronary arteries. And therefore it reduces the lumen size of the lumen of the blood vessels or the arteries. And thus the amount of the blood supplied to the heart muscles become reduced. Therefore, the heart muscles receive reduced amount of blood pressure. And this way the atherosclerosis affect the blood flow also, and therefore you can say it mainly causes narrowing of the lumen. Or I just now told you that the inner lining of the coronary arteries that gets depositions of the plaque and therefore reduces the size of the lumen. Another type is the arteriosclerosis. It refers to the hardening of the arteries due to certain depositions and thickenings. Therefore, the flexibility and the lumen size of the arteries become reduced. Or you can say the lumen size of the arteries and as well as the flexibility of the arteries decrease due to the hardening of the arteries due to the depositions. Then another type is the heart attack. It is in atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis or in coronary thrombosis, the size of the lumen of the coronary artery is reduced very much, and the blood, it passes through these arteries with difficulty and cause pain. Therefore, in such situation, heart muscles are not supplied with the required amount of oxygen. This results in the death of some of the cardiac muscles, and this is called heart attack. So this way it is the main reason of the heart attack, because of the blockages, and such situation functioning of the heart becomes abnormal and the cardiac output is also affected. So if the condition is not normalized immediately, it may result in the death of the person. Then the heart blockage. And the heart blockage, I just now told you, the mechanical injury or damage to the heart due to some diseases may sometimes result into heart block. In such situation, the impulses generated by the SA node, they fail to spread. I told you SA node spreads the impulses to AV node, and then AV node to bundle of His to the bundle branches and to the Purkinje fibers. But in such situation, the SA node fail to spread, especially in the ventricular region. Due to this, ventricle do not contract at all, and thus heart fails to pump. Since the ventricles will fail to pump the blood further, the blood will not reach to the various parts of the organs also. So usually this condition is corrected within few seconds, but if the condition takes longer time to be normalized, it may be life threatening. So this way, I have told you this angina pectoris also, it is acute chest pain, which I told you, pain in the muscles, and it help in making the heart failure also. I told you it causes the heart failure, that is heart attacks and all that. So heart failure is not the same as cardiac arrest. Remember, cardiac arrest is different. Here in the cardiac arrest, the heart stops beating. Or heart attack, when the heart muscle is damaged due to the improper supply of the blood and in receiving inadequate amount of the oxygen. Okay, thank you.